Good morning. This is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated Journato morning headlines on September 14, 2022. Calais migrants say Rwanda worse than Afghanistan, but it won't stop them crossing. Life in Kharkiv still precarious despite Ukraine's recent victories. The Guardian, as Ukraine pursues counteroffensive, Russia strikes Kharkiv. The Independent, Ukraine recaptures 3,000 square kilometers as Russians attack power station. ITV News. ITV News, as Ukraine makes key gains, Zelenskyy says Kremlin's goal is now to deprive people of light and heat. City AM, Ukraine war, thousands without power or water as faltering Russians take revenge on infrastructure. Kremlin says Russians back Vladimir Putin but warns of a very thin line on criticism. The Independent, Vladimir Putin faces calls to resign amid backlash over Russia's war in Ukraine. iNews, Russian council faces dissolution after call for Putin's removal. Reuters, Russian officials call for Putin to be toppled as Moscow suffers significant military setback in Ukraine. The Independent, officials from 18 Russian districts call for Putin to resign. Trump News, live. Mike Lindell says FBI seized his phone, as Trump shares bizarre QAnon image. The Independent, judge unseals additional portions of Mar-a-Lago affidavit. The Independent, Trump objects to Justice Department's Special Master Nominees Court filing. Reuters, Trump fights DOJ bid to resume review of 100 classified records. Kazakhstan to change name of capital from Nur-sultan back to Astana. Russia has spent $300 million since 2014 to influence foreign officials, US says. The Guardian, Russia has given foreign parties $300 million, says US. The Times, US says Russia covertly spent $300 million to sway foreign votes. Bloomberg, US, warns that Russia will step up covert political influence to undermine sanctions. Reuters, Russia spent millions on secret global political campaign, US intelligence finds. Kenneth Starr, Clinton investigator dead at 76. BBC, Ken Starr, prosecutor in President Clinton Whitewater Lewinsky probe, dies aged 76. Sky News, Monica Lewinsky reacts to death of Ken Starr, who led Clinton impeachment investigation. The Independent, live news, Kenneth Starr, former investigator of Bill Clinton, dies at 76. Strength of limitless China-Russia ties to be tested at summit. The Guardian, Xi Jinping aims to reassert China's influence on first foreign trip since COVID began. Financial Times, China's Xi to meet Russia's Putin during first trip abroad since pandemic. Bloomberg, Putin and Xi to discuss Ukraine and Taiwan, Kremlin says. Reuters, Xi to visit Central Asia in first trip abroad since pandemic. They were in a sad state. Ukraine forces find Russians in retreat. The Independent, Russia launches massive air, rocket and artillery strikes after bruising losses. The Telegraph, Ukraine takes control of entire Kharkiv region and towns seized at onset of Russian invasion. The Guardian, the Irish Times view on the Ukrainian offensive, a strategic and symbolic rout, the Irish Times. The Irish Times, Ukrainian offensive dooms Russia's aims for the Donbas. Ukraine war, full security is being restored, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy tells his people. Sky News, Ukraine retakes more eastern land from Russia, Zelenskyy claims. BBC News. BBC News, Ukraine has retaken 6,000 square kilometers, Zelenskyy says, as he calls for air defense aid. The Guardian, if the West holds its nerve, Putin could be heading towards defeat. The Telegraph, Ukraine's stunning offensive against Russia needs more Western support. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.